He is not happy.
Egypt just accused the World Cup of protecting the champions.
The Egyptians are calling for an investigation into what they describe as double standards in the refereeing in the game.
FIFA says nobody influences its referees, not federations, not presidents. By the end of this video, you'll decide who's right, and an American president is part of the answer.
This talk in America is that the superstars, the players that the American public know, need to be in this tournament.
This isn't history yet. This just happened. July 7th, Atlanta, round of 16. Egypt are beating the world champions.
Egypt make the breakthrough in Atlanta.
Messi's penalty already saved. Then Mostafa Zico scores, and for 90 seconds it's 2-0. Then the referee walks to a screen. The foul is on Marwan Atia, a shirt hold, a boot on Lisandro Martinez's foot. But it happened a full pitch away while Argentina were attacking. The protocol allows it. No distance limit exists anywhere. Still, would you have expected that call?
Final decision is got upset free kick.
Then football did what football does. Romero, Messi, Fernandez in stoppage time, 3 goals in 13 minutes, and Egypt were out. Credit where it's owed. That comeback was the players, not the officials. And Egypt were heroic. They had the champions beaten for 79 minutes. Watch what happened next. Egypt's federation said it could not remain silent. It wanted the referee sent home. Their coach went further. He suggested, quote, perhaps they wanted to keep the world champion in the competition. I understand that pain. I've sat in that dressing room. But an accusation isn't a finding. So FIFA answered, a foul is a foul. 5 words. That was the whole defense. And Kalina added something bigger. Nobody influences FIFA refereeing. Not even, in his words, the FIFA president. Hold on to that line. You'll need it in 20 minutes. Before we go back 40 years, do one thing for me. Drop a comment right now. Which football controversy broke your heart the most? Tell me the country or club you carry and your all-time favorite player. I read everyone, and I'll tell you mine at the end. Now, Mexico City, 1986. A hand no camera could overrule. The Hand of God, 1986. June 22nd, 1986. Estadio Azteca, Mexico City. A quarterfinal. Argentina against England. 114,000 people in that stadium. And not one of the 2 men who mattered saw what you're about to see. 51st minute. Diego Maradona punches the ball over Peter Shilton. The referee is Ali bin Nasser of Tunisia. His linesman is Bogdan Dochev of Bulgaria. Neither man flags it. The goal stands. Those 2 officials spent the rest of their lives blaming each other for it. Now here's what people forget. 4 minutes later, the same man did this. Voted the goal of the century in FIFA's own poll, the greatest goal ever scored, 4 minutes after the most infamous. Same match, same man. That's football. The sublime and the scandalous share a shirt. After the match, Maradona described his first goal in words that became legend. A little with the head of Maradona, a little with the hand of God. Years later, in his autobiography and on his own television show, he admitted it plainly. It was his hand. He knew it the moment he did it. I want to be fair to everyone here. England were beaten by a handball the officials couldn't see. That's a fact. Argentina were also carried by the greatest individual performance in World Cup history. That's a fact too. Both things are true, and both sets of fans have carried that day for 40 years. Now compare it to Atlanta. In 1986, a goal stood because nobody could look again. In 2026, a goal fell because everybody can look again, forever, from every angle. England's complaint was that the referee saw too little. Egypt's complaint is that the referee saw too much. 40 years apart, football swung from one extreme to the other, and both extremes ended with a nation in mourning. Here's the part I need you to sit with. Bin Nasser wasn't a villain. He was a man with 2 eyes, standing in the wrong place for 1/2 of 1 second. I've been on pitches where I knew the referee missed something. You know what I never doubted? That he was trying to see it. The Hand of God became the most cited argument for video review in the history of the sport. Every time technology in football was debated for the next 30 years, this clip was Exhibit 1. When VAR finally arrived, this was the ghost it was built to chase. One footnote before we leave Mexico. Maradona's story had another scandal coming. A failed ephedrine test sent him home from the '94 World Cup. Doping is a different beast, and it deserves its own video. Today, we stay with the decisions, because cameras can't chase suspicion. And in 2002, suspicion swallowed an entire tournament. What happened in Korea makes Atlanta look polite. South Korea, 2002. Korea and Japan, the first World Cup in Asia. And before I say anything else, I'll say this. South Korea reached the semi-finals with the fittest squad in the tournament, a relentless press, and a world-class coach in Gus Hiddink. Their players earned every drop of sweat on that run. And yet, 2 matches from that run are still argued about today, 24 years later, June 18th. Italy against South Korea. Referee Byron Moreno of Ecuador. Francesco Totti goes down in the box in extra time. He's asking for a penalty. He gets a second yellow card for diving instead, and he's off. Then Damiano Tomasi puts the ball in the net. A golden goal. Match over, Italy through. Except the flag goes up for offside. The replay suggested he was on. An Jung-hwan wins it for Korea instead, and one of the great World Cup upsets is complete. 4 days later, Spain. Referee Gamal Al-Gandour of Egypt. Spain have 2 goals ruled out. The second one hurts most. Fernando Morientes heads in a golden goal, and the assistant rules Joaquin's cross had gone out of play first. The replays indicated it hadn't fully crossed the line. Korea win on penalties, and they're in a World Cup semi-final. Now, here's the most important sentence in this entire segment, so I'll say it slowly. No official finding of wrongdoing has ever been made about these matches. Not by FIFA, not by any investigation, nothing. FIFA defended its officials at the time, and that defense has never been overturned. What happened to Byron Moreno afterwards is simply a matter of record. Ecuador's own federation later suspended him over domestic officiating irregularities. Then, in 2010, he was arrested at JFK Airport in New York, smuggling heroin. He served time in an American prison. I'm not telling you what that means. I'm telling you it happened because it's true, and you'd find it in 2 minutes anyway. Here's where Atlanta comes back in. After Egypt went out, their coach suggested FIFA wanted the world champions kept in the tournament. In 2002, millions said exactly the same thing about the hosts. Same accusation, 24 years apart. And in both cases, the evidence is a feeling, not a finding. I felt that feeling. I've walked off a pitch certain the universe had picked a side. And I won't dismiss what millions watched that summer. Those matches deserved every question they got. But questions aren't convictions, and feelings aren't proof. So here's what I've learned since hanging up my boots. When decisions can't be explained, people explain them with suspicion. Every single time. That's not a fan problem. That's a transparency problem. And football took another 20 years to start fixing it. Sometimes, though, the controversy isn't the referee at all. Sometimes it's the greatest player on the pitch and 10 seconds of being human. Zidane, Berlin, 2006. July 9th, 2006. The World Cup final, France against Italy in Berlin. And the whole night belongs to 2 men who spent it colliding with each other. 7th minute. Zinedine Zidane, in the final match of his career, chips a penalty off the underside of the crossbar. A Panenka in a World Cup final. I still can't explain the confidence of that. And who equalizes for Italy? Marco Materazzi. Remember both names because this final is a 2-man play and the last act is coming. 1-1, extra time, the 110th minute. Zidane and Materazzi exchange words as they jog upfield, and then the greatest player of his generation stops, turns, and does this. Referee Horacio Elizondo of Argentina shows a straight red. There was a controversy inside the controversy that night, whether the 4th official had used video replay to alert Elizondo, which the laws didn't allow in 2006. FIFA denied it. But notice what that argument was really about. Even then, football was fighting over what officials should be allowed to see. Sound familiar? France lose the shootout. Italy are champions of the world, and on that night, worthy ones. That was a magnificent Italian side. Zidane had already been voted the best player of the tournament. He won the Golden Ball and lost the final in the same night. So what actually happened? Materazzi admitted it himself, years later. He insulted Zidane's sister after Zidane sarcastically offered him his shirt. Zidane said he'd rather die than apologize to the man, but he apologized to every child who was watching. FIFA fined them both, and since Zidane had retired, his ban was converted into community service, coaching kids. Now, the Atlanta connection, and it's not the one you think. In the chaos of stoppage time in that Egypt match, Egypt's goalkeeping coach was shown a red card. A coach. On the touchline, because pressure doesn't only break defenses, it breaks people. I've been provoked on a pitch. I'll tell you exactly what it's like. It's 40 minutes of poison, delivered in whispers. It has one purpose: to make you forget who you are for 1 second. Most days you hold it. Zidane held it for 18 years. He let go once, with the whole planet watching. Every controversy on this list has a human being at its center, wearing boots or carrying a whistle. Berlin is what happens when we forget that. And 4 years later, football produced 2 moments in 1 week that finally forced the machines into the game. 2010, the year football broke. 2010, South Africa, the first World Cup in Africa. And in the space of 6 days, football's relationship with technology changed forever. 2 moments, one forced the machines in, the other proved no machine would ever settle the hardest arguments. Moment 1, June 27th, Bloemfontein, England against Germany, round of 16. Frank Lampard's shot is over the line by half a meter. Everyone in the stadium sees it. Everyone watching on television sees it. Referee Jorge Larionda and his assistant don't. No goal. Germany win 4-1, and fair play to them. They were superb that day. But the mistake was so undeniable that Sepp Blatter personally apologized to the English FA. And then, cause and effect. Cleaner than anywhere else in this sport's history, FIFA had frozen goal line technology talks in 2008. After Bloemfontein, they reopened. In 2012, the lawmakers approved it. In 2014, it debuted at a World Cup. Karim Benzema scored the first goal in history awarded by a machine. 1 error, 1 technology, done. There's poetry in it too. In 1966, England won a final with a shot off the bar that may never have crossed the line. Against Germany. Football's ledger has a long memory. Moment 2 happened 5 days later. And it's harder, much harder. Last minute of extra time. Quarterfinal. Uruguay against Ghana. Dominic Adia's header is in. It is a goal in every way except the one that counts, because Luis Suarez stops it with his hands. On the line. On purpose. Red card. Correct. Penalty. Correct. Asamoah Gyan steps up. 1 kick to send an African nation into a World Cup semi-final. The first ever. At an African World Cup crossbar, Uruguay win the shootout, and Suarez, watching from the tunnel, celebrates Gyan's miss like he'd scored a winner. The hand of God now belongs to me. His words, not mine. And here's why this moment still gets argued about in every dressing room I've ever been in. Suarez broke a law of the game, and he accepted the maximum punishment that law allows. Every referee decision that night was correct. Every single one. And it still felt wrong to millions of people. Sit with that. A correct decision and a fair-feeling decision are not always the same thing. That's the bridge to Atlanta, and it's the hardest truth in this whole video. In Atlanta, the Adia foul was real. Kalina was right. A foul is a foul. The protocol was followed, and Egypt still walked off feeling robbed of something. 2010 and 2026 are the same lesson. You can get every letter of the law right and still leave a wound. To Ghana and to a whole continent that stood behind them that night, I'll say what a professional owes you. That team gave the World Cup one of its greatest stories. Gyan had the courage to take that penalty and the courage to take another one in the shootout. Blame has no place near that man. And notice the irony that history was building. The technology England begged for in Bloemfontein grew into the system Egypt protested in Atlanta. Fans demanded that football see everything. 16 years later it does. Careful what you wish for. By 2018, the machines were fully in the game, and the numbers they produced changed it overnight. 2018, the machines arrive Russia. 2018, the first World Cup with VAR. 30 years of arguing, from the Azteca to Bloemfontein, and now the review is real. So what happened when football could finally look twice? June 16th, France against Australia. History. Antoine Griezmann scores the first penalty ever awarded by video review at a World Cup. And then the floodgates. 29 penalties in one tournament. The old record was 18. VAR didn't just review the game. It changed the game's texture. Defenders learned overnight that the camera never blinks. It even reached the final itself. A penalty in a World Cup final, awarded from a screen, Ivan Perishic's handball, reviewed and given, debated in every language on earth that night. Croatia's fans, hear me, that heartbreak came inside the greatest month your football has ever had, and nobody serious blames one penalty for the result. France were worthy champions. Here's FIFA's own scorecard, and I'll label it as theirs. They said VAR took decision accuracy from around 95% to 99.3. Their figure, but flip it, even at 99.3, big calls still go wrong. Across 64 matches, that margin decides tournaments. And Atlanta proved something FIFA's percentage can't measure. Nobody in Egypt disputes that Adia's boot touched Martinez's foot. The camera settled that. What they dispute is whether the review should reach back a full pitch to find it. 2018 answered the question of accuracy. It left the question of remit wide open. 4 years later in the desert, the machines faced their biggest test. And the team they punished hardest? It's the team everyone's accusing right now. Qatar 2022, Argentina. On the other side, Qatar 2022, semi-automated offside, a ball with a sensor reading it 500 times a second, the most surveilled football matches ever played. And I want to show you who this technology punished most famously, because it's the answer to an accusation being made right now, this week. November 22nd, Argentina against Saudi Arabia. 3 Argentina goals disallowed in one half. Margins you couldn't see with a human eye. Saudi Arabia win 2-1, one of the greatest upsets in the history of this tournament. The technology's most famous victim in Qatar was Argentina. Hold that thought because it matters enormously in a minute. The machines ran the whole tournament. Japan against Spain. Kaoru Mitoma's cutback ruled in play by millimeters, the curve of the ball hanging over the line. Germany went home because of it. Then Cristiano Ronaldo claimed a goal against Uruguay. The sensor in the ball proved he never touched it, took it off his record. A computer fact-checking the most famous athlete alive, and the humans still had their nights. Argentina against the Netherlands. Referee Antonio Mateo Lahoz showed a record number of yellow cards, widely reported around 17 or 18, the most a World Cup match has ever seen. Both federations were fined afterwards. Stoppage time hit record lengths all tournament. England's opener against Iran ran to roughly 27 added minutes combined, and that approach to timekeeping followed the World Cup home, straight into domestic leagues the next season. Think about that. A World Cup controversy changed what time your Saturday match finishes. The final. Some French pundits debated the softness of Argentina's early penalty. The French Federation never formally protested. I'll leave it exactly there, because that's exactly where the facts leave it. And that final needed no asterisk from anyone. It's the greatest match I've ever watched. Now, the point of this whole segment. This week, Egypt's coach suggested the system protects Argentina, but in 2022, the same machinery ruled against Argentina 3 times in one afternoon. In the biggest upset of the tournament, same technology, same team, opposite outcome. The system doesn't have a favorite, it has a rule book, and the rule book feels cruel to whoever it lands on that day. In Qatar, it landed on Argentina. In Atlanta, Egypt believe it landed on them. That's not bias, that's the weather. And every sailor on the sea gets rained on eventually. So by 2026, football had fixed almost everything it could see. Which brings us to the one controversy this summer that no camera, no sensor, and no protocol touched at all. When the decision left the pitch at the top of this video, I made you a promise. A phone call, a red card, and the President of the United States. Time to pay it. July 1st, 2026. USA against Bosnia and Herzegovina, round of 32. Folarin Balogun scores, and later catches Tarek Muharemovic with his studs. After review, a straight red. In real time, it looked innocuous. In slow motion, it looked bad. That's a genuinely debatable card, and professionals debated it. Under tournament regulations, the ban that follows is automatic. 1 match. No exceptions written anywhere. Then President Donald Trump called FIFA President Gianni Infantino and asked him to review it. That's not a rumor. Trump confirmed the call himself, publicly, and nothing in this segment is leaked or alleged. Every word you're about to hear came from the people involved. On the record, days later, FIFA made an announcement. Balogun's automatic suspension was itself suspended, a probationary period of 1 year. The legal basis? Article 27 of FIFA's own disciplinary code. He was cleared to play the round of 16. The reaction was unlike anything I can remember. UEFA, European football's own governing body, said FIFA had crossed a red line. Unprecedented, incomprehensible, unjustifiable. Their 3 words on the record. Belgium's federation called it a direct contradiction of the tournament's own regulations and tried to appeal. The appeal was ruled inadmissible. Belgium, FIFA decided, had no standing to challenge it. Infantino confirmed the call happened, and he insisted FIFA's judicial bodies are independent. They decided the case on the facts, he said, and he takes calls from heads of state all the time. That's his defense, in full, and you deserve to hear it. Then football wrote its own ending. Balogun played. The USA lost 4-1 to Belgium and went home. The intervention changed nothing on the pitch, and everything off it. One more thread to close. Remember Kalina's statement after the Egypt match? "Nobody influences FIFA refereeing," he said. "Not even the FIFA president." Now you know why the chief of referees felt the need to say that sentence out loud in that exact week. And spare a thought for Balogun himself, a young player caught in a storm he never asked for, judged worldwide for a phone call he never made. Whatever you think of the decision, leave the kid out of it. Here's what makes this the last stop on our 40-year journey. The hand of God was about what a referee couldn't see. Korea was about what fans suspected. Bloemfontein was about what cameras could prove. Atlanta was about how far a review should reach. All of it, every bit of it, happened between the white lines. This one didn't involve a referee's eyes at all. Football spent 40 years fixing what officials can see. The next 40 may be about protecting who officials answer to. So, back to the question I asked you in Atlanta. Was Atlanta a scandal? Here's my verdict. For whatever 30 years around this game is worth, it was football being football. So who was right? Both. Egypt were right that the call felt cruel. FIFA were right that the protocol was followed. Nobody cheated in Atlanta. The harder question is whether the rules should keep producing nights like it. That's the debate worth having. Calmly, openly, with the game's best interests at heart. Decision-making is part and parcel of this game, the same way weather is part and parcel of sailing. You don't eliminate it, you get better at navigating it. And whatever you think of any single call, look honestly at the direction of travel. 1986 gave football the wound. 2002 gave it the suspicion. 2010 forced the technology. 2018 delivered it. And 2026 asked the one question no camera can answer. Who watches the decision makers? Every fix on that list was bought with somebody's heartbreak. English, Italian, Spanish, French, Ghanaian, German, Egyptian, American. Nobody's tears were wasted. The game you watch today is fairer than the one I played in. And it's fairer for one reason. Fans refuse to accept the unexplained. That's the improvement worth demanding now, and it's already begun. Referees wearing cameras, decisions announced in stadiums, offside drawn by machines instead of guessed by humans. What's left is the simplest reform of all. Explanation, because here's what 40 years of this history proves. Fans forgive wrong calls. They never forgive unexplained ones. And one last thing, from a professional to you, the man with the whistle goes home to a family. Kalina said the ugliest part of the Egypt fallout was threats against officials and the people they love. Argue the call all you want. I just spent 25 minutes doing it with you. But that line, we never cross. That's not passion. That's the one thing this game has no room for. So now, I want to hear from you. One professional to the people who make this game matter. Which of these moments broke your heart the most? Atlanta? Bloemfontein? That night in Johannesburg? Tell me the country or the club you carry, and your all-time favorite player. And I promised you mine. Johannesburg, 2010. I watched Gyan's penalty hit that bar, and I've never gotten over it. My club is where I spent my best years. And my player, all-time, is the man you saw walk past that trophy in Berlin. Greatness and heartbreak in one frame. That's this sport. If tonight's story pulled you in, watch every World Cup scandal that changed football forever next. It picks up exactly where this one ends. Subscribe if you want more football history told straight, no hysteria. See you in the next one.